The elevator doors opened onto the 47th floor of Crawford Industries, and Naomi Blake stepped into the sleek marble lobby that had become her second home. At 26, she had spent 2 years navigating these halls as executive assistant to Ethan Crawford, 2 years of early mornings, late nights, and complete invisibility to the man who occupied her every working hour. She settled at her desk outside his corner office, organizing the day's schedule with practiced efficiency. Coffee prepared exactly as he preferred, black, no sugar, scalding hot. Documents arranged in order of priority. Calendar synchronized down to 15-minute increments. Naomi had mastered the art of anticipating Ethan Crawford's needs before he voiced them. She knew his moods by the set of his shoulders, could predict his demands by the rhythm of his footsteps. After 2 years, she understood him better than anyone in the company. He had never once asked about her weekend. At 33, Ethan Crawford was everything business magazines celebrated: brilliant, ruthless, devastatingly handsome. His dark hair was always perfectly styled, his charcoal suits tailored to emphasize broad shoulders and commanding height. Steel blue eyes that could freeze a boardroom or charm investors with equal ease. Those eyes had never truly looked at Naomi. Not once. She was efficient, reliable, essential to his operation, and utterly invisible as a person. He addressed her as Miss Blake with crisp professionalism, accepted her coffee without acknowledgement, and departed each evening without farewell. She was furniture. Functional and forgettable. Naomi had accepted this reality long ago. She needed this job, the salary supported her younger brother's college tuition, and Crawford Industries looked impressive on any resume. Personal feelings had no place in professional arrangements. Still, there were moments when her heart betrayed her logic. Moments when Ethan loosened his tie after a difficult meeting and she glimpsed vulnerability beneath his armor. Moments when his rare, genuine laugh reached her ears and made her chest ache with longing for something she would never have. Foolish thoughts. Dangerous thoughts. The morning passed in familiar rhythm. Naomi fielded calls, managed appointments, and prepared briefing materials for the afternoon's investor meeting. She was reviewing financial projections when a shadow fell across her desk. "Good morning, Naomi." She looked up to find Lucas Grant smiling down at her, the marketing director with warm brown eyes and an easy charm that made everyone feel comfortable. Unlike most executives who treated assistants as invisible, Lucas always remembered her name, asked about her day, brought coffee when he noticed her working through lunch. "Good morning, Lucas. How can I help you?" "Actually, I was hoping to help you." He perched on the edge of her desk with casual confidence. "There is a charity gala this Saturday. The Crawford Foundation benefit at the Waldorf." Naomi nodded. She had coordinated Ethan's attendance herself. "I was wondering if you would be my date." The question caught her completely off guard. What?" Lucas's smile widened. "You heard me. I have watched you work yourself to exhaustion for 2 years. You deserve a night of champagne and dancing instead of organizing spreadsheets. Say yes." Naomi felt heat rise to her cheeks. Lucas was attractive, kind, genuinely interested in her as a person. This was exactly what she should want, attention from someone who actually saw her. "I do not know if that is appropriate." "It is completely appropriate. You are not my assistant." Lucas leaned closer conspiratorially. "Besides, you would be doing me a favor. These events are unbearable without good company." Before Naomi could respond, the door to Ethan's office opened. He stood in the doorway, his expression unreadable as his gaze moved from Lucas to Naomi and back again. Something flickered in those steel blue eyes, something Naomi had never seen before. "Grant. Should you not be preparing for the marketing presentation?" Lucas straightened, unruffled by the cold tone. "Just finishing up, Crawford." "Naomi, think about it. I will need an answer by Thursday." He departed with a casual wave, leaving Naomi acutely aware of Ethan's continued presence in the doorway. "Miss Blake." His voice was clipped. "My office." "Now." Naomi gathered her tablet and followed him inside, her heart pounding with confusion. She had done nothing wrong. Lucas's invitation was personal, not professional. Yet Ethan's jaw was tight with tension she could not explain. He did not sit behind his desk as usual. Instead, he stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, hands clasped behind his back, staring at the city below. "The Henderson contract," he said without turning. "I need the revised terms by end of day." "Of course. I will have them ready by 4. "And the quarterly projections?" "Already on your desk, sir." Silence stretched between them. Naomi waited, sensing something unspoken hovering in the air. Finally, Ethan turned. His eyes found hers with unusual intensity, and for one breathless moment, she felt truly seen. "The gala Saturday." His voice was strange, controlled. "You are attending with Grant?" he asked me. "I have not decided yet." "I see." Something dark passed across his features. "That will be all, Miss Blake." Naomi retreated to her desk, her mind spinning with questions she could not answer. For 2 years, Ethan Crawford had treated her like a ghost. Now, suddenly, he was asking about her personal plans with an edge in his voice she had never heard before. She did not understand what had changed. But something definitely had. The days following Lucas's invitation became strange and charged with tension. Naomi could not explain. Ethan, who had barely acknowledged her existence for 2 years, suddenly found countless reasons to interact. He appeared at her desk with unnecessary questions. He requested reports he had never needed before. He lingered in doorways, watching her with an intensity that made her skin prickle with awareness. On Wednesday, Lucas brought flowers to her desk, a cheerful bouquet of sunflowers that brightened her workspace. Naomi was arranging them in a vase when Ethan's office door flew open. "Miss Blake." "Inside." "Now." She followed, leaving the flowers behind, her pulse quickening at his clipped tone. Ethan stood behind his desk, his posture rigid with barely contained energy. "I need you to work late tonight. The Singapore deal requires immediate attention." "Of course, sir." "What time should I, and tomorrow evening as well?" "The Henderson negotiations have accelerated." Naomi frowned slightly. "Sir, the Henderson timeline shows nothing urgent until next week." Something flickered in his eyes, frustration, perhaps. Or something deeper. "Are you questioning my judgment, Miss Blake?" "No, sir. I simply want to ensure I understand the priorities correctly." Ethan moved around his desk, closing the distance between them until Naomi could smell his cologne, woodsy and masculine, achingly familiar from 2 years of proximity without intimacy. "The priority," he said quietly, "is this company. Not charity galas. Not marketing directors with flower deliveries." Naomi's breath caught. "Sir? I have watched you, Miss Blake. 2 years of impeccable work, complete dedication, and now you are distracted by Grant's attention." Heat flooded her cheeks, anger mixing with confusion. "With respect, sir, my personal life does not affect my professional performance." "Does it not?" Ethan's voice dropped dangerously low. "Those flowers on your desk suggest otherwise." "Lucas is being kind. Something I have rarely experienced in this office." The words escaped before Naomi could stop them. She watched them land, watched Ethan's expression shift from controlled anger to something vulnerable and raw. "You think I have been unkind to you? I think you have been nothing to me." The confession tumbled out, 2 years of suppressed hurt finally finding voice. "I have worked beside you every single day, anticipated your needs, protected your schedule, managed your chaos. And you have never once asked my first name. Never asked about my life. Never looked at me like I was anything more than furniture. Silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken truths. Naomi. Ethan said her name like he was tasting it for the first time. Your name is Naomi. You knew that. I knew everything. His admission was barely audible. Your brother studies engineering at Columbia. You take your coffee with 2 sugars and cream. You hum when you concentrate and bite your lip when you are stressed. You stayed late for 6 months straight when we were acquiring the Tokyo firm, and you never once complained. Naomi stared at him, her world tilting. If you knew all that, why did you never? Because noticing you was dangerous. Ethan's control finally cracked. Because every time I looked at you, I wanted things I had no right to want. It was easier to pretend you were invisible than to acknowledge what seeing you did to me. The confession hung between them like a held breath. I am going to the gala with Lucas, Naomi said finally, her voice trembling. Unless you give me a reason not to. Ethan's jaw tightened. I cannot give you what Grant can. I do not know how to be, he stopped, frustrated. I do not know how to be anything but this. Then I guess we have nothing more to discuss. Naomi turned and walked out, her heart pounding with emotions too tangled to name. The charity gala transformed the Waldorf ballroom into a glittering wonderland. Crystal chandeliers cast rainbows across the marble floor, and Manhattan's elite circulated in designer gowns and tailored tuxedos. Naomi wore emerald silk that made her dark skin glow, her hair swept into an elegant updo. Lucas had been the perfect gentleman, attentive, charming, making her feel beautiful and valued, but her eyes kept finding Ethan across the crowded room. He stood alone by the bar, nursing whiskey and watching her with an intensity that burned even from a distance. Every time Lucas made her laugh, Ethan's expression darkened. Every time Lucas touched her arm, Ethan's grip tightened on his glass. The orchestra began a waltz. Lucas extended his hand. Dance with me? Naomi accepted, letting him guide her onto the floor. They moved together gracefully, Lucas's hand warm at her waist, his smile genuine and uncomplicated. You look stunning tonight, he murmured. Thank you for inviting me. This is lovely. I am hoping this becomes the first of many. May I cut in? Ethan materialized beside them, his expression carefully controlled but his eyes blazing. Lucas's smile faltered. Crawford. We are in the middle of, I need to speak with my assistant. Company emergency. Ethan. Naomi's use of his first name made both men freeze. There is no emergency. There is. His voice dropped, meant only for her. Please, Naomi. 5 minutes. Something in his tone, desperation beneath the demand, made her decision. Excuse me, Lucas. I will be right back. She let Ethan guide her away from the dance floor, through gilded corridors, into a coat room that offered privacy from curious eyes. What is this about? Naomi demanded once they were alone. I cannot watch this anymore. Ethan's composure shattered completely. I cannot watch him touch you, make you laugh, look at you the way I have wanted to look at you for 2 years. You had 2 years to look at me. You chose not to. I was protecting myself. His voice echoed off the walls. My parents' marriage was warfare. They loved each other obsessively and destroyed each other completely. I swore I would never feel that way about anyone. And then you walked into my office with your efficiency and your quiet strength, and every defense I built started crumbling. Naomi's anger wavered. Why are you telling me this now? Because watching you with Grant made me realize something. Ethan moved closer, close enough to touch. Protecting myself from you is not living. It is just slower dying. His hand cupped her face with trembling tenderness. I notice you every single day, Naomi. I have memorized the way you move, the sound of your voice, the way light catches your hair. You were never invisible to me. You were always too visible, so bright it hurt to look directly. Ethan, give me a chance. His forehead pressed against hers. One chance to be brave instead of broken. I know I do not deserve it. But I am asking anyway. Naomi's resistance crumbled. Then show me. Their first kiss was gentle, questioning, then deeper, hungrier, 2 years of suppressed longing finally released. Ethan's arms wrapped around her, pulling her close, and Naomi melted into him completely. When they finally separated, both breathless, Ethan smiled, genuine and unguarded for the first time. Come home with me. Let me show you everything I should have shown you from the beginning. Ethan's penthouse overlooked Central Park, all clean lines and floor-to-ceiling windows that made the city feel infinite. But Naomi barely noticed the luxury. Her attention was consumed entirely by the man before her. They stood in his living room, the tension between them electric with possibility. I should warn you, Ethan said quietly. I am not good at this. Vulnerability. Openness. I have spent my entire life building walls. Then let me help you tear them down. Naomi stepped closer, pressing her palm against his chest. Beneath expensive fabric, his heart pounded as frantically as her own. My parents were passionate, he continued, needing her to understand. Passionate and destructive. They screamed, threw things, made up in bed, then tore each other apart again. I watched love become a weapon. I swore I would never hand anyone that power. I am not your mother, Ethan. I know. He covered her hand with his. But I needed you to understand why I kept you at a distance. It was never because I did not want you. It was because I wanted you too much. Naomi rose on her toes and kissed him softly. Then stop fighting it. Stop protecting yourself from something that could be beautiful. Permission granted, Ethan's restraint dissolved. He kissed her deeply, backing her toward the bedroom with urgent purpose. They undressed each other slowly, his jacket falling to the floor, her zipper sliding down, layers of professional distance finally stripped away. You are so beautiful, he breathed, tracing her curves with reverent hands. I have imagined this so many times. Show me what you imagined. Their lovemaking was tender and intense. Ethan worshipped her body like she was precious, memorizing every response, every sigh, every shiver. Naomi surrendered to sensation she had only dreamed about, his touch igniting nerves, his whispered words healing wounds she had carried for 2 years. When they finally came together, it was transcendent. Not just physical release but emotional union, two people choosing vulnerability over safety, connection over protection. Afterward, tangled in silk sheets, Ethan held her close and spoke into the darkness. I am terrified, he admitted. Of needing you this much. Of what it means. I am terrified too. Naomi traced patterns on his chest. But some things are worth the fear. You are worth everything. He kissed her forehead. I should have told you years ago. You are telling me now. That is what matters. They made love again as dawn painted the sky pink and gold. And when Naomi woke later that morning, Ethan was beside her, watching her with soft eyes and an expression she had never seen before. Hope. Monday morning brought inevitable complications. The office buzzed with whispers, someone had seen them leaving the gala together. Naomi felt curious eyes tracking her movements, heard speculation disguised as casual conversation. But Ethan refused to hide. He appeared at her desk mid-morning with coffee prepared exactly how she liked it, 2 sugars, cream. The gesture was small but significant, witnessed by a dozen colleagues. Good morning, Naomi. Her first name, spoken publicly, silenced nearby conversations. Good morning, Ethan. His smile was warm and unguarded. Lunch today? There is something I want to discuss. I would like that. The lunch meeting was actually a promotion offer, not to remain his assistant but to lead the company's new community outreach division. A position matching her abilities, completely separate from his direct supervision. I want to be with you, Ethan explained. But not if it compromises your career or makes people question your accomplishments. You earned this role through 2 years of exceptional work. Our relationship is separate. Naomi's eyes glistened. You did this for me? I did this because you deserve it. The relationship is just a bonus I am hoping you will continue to grant me. She laughed through tears. You are very different from the man I thought I knew. I am becoming the man I want to be. You make me want to be better. The office adapted. Initial gossip transformed into grudging respect as Naomi excelled in her new role. Ethan's transformation was evident to everyone. He smiled more, delegated better, and treated employees with warmth that had previously been absent. 6 months later, they stood on the balcony of his penthouse, watching sunset paint the city in shades of orange and gold. I have something for you, Ethan said, producing a small velvet box. Naomi's breath caught. 2 years ago, you walked into my office and I knew immediately that you were dangerous to everything I had built to protect myself. He opened the box, revealing a stunning diamond ring. You were patient when I was cold. You were professional when I was impossible. You saw through my walls even when I tried desperately to keep you out. He knelt before her. Naomi Blake, you were never nothing to me. You were always everything, I was just too afraid to admit it. Will you marry me? Yes. She pulled him up, kissing him through joyful tears. Yes, absolutely yes. They made love that night with the ring sparkling on her finger, celebration of a journey from invisibility to being truly seen. Months later, at their wedding, Ethan's vows made the guests weep. I spent years convincing myself that love was weakness. Then I met a woman who showed me that love is the only strength that matters. Naomi, you taught me that being seen is not vulnerability, it is freedom. Thank you for refusing to remain invisible, even when I tried to look away. Naomi smiled at her husband, the cold billionaire who had learned to feel, the distant boss who had become her greatest champion. You were worth waiting for, she whispered. You were always worth it. They walked into their future together, proof that sometimes the people who seem most indifferent are actually the ones paying closest attention, and that love can awaken even the most guarded hearts.